I remember the first time I saw it. This thing, this object, this moment. It was like the world had paused, and all I could do was watch, breathless, as if time itself had taken a seat beside me. It wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic. It just existed in a way that made me feel like I had been missing something vital all along, something that had been waiting for me to notice. It's not about what it is. It's about what it makes me feel. This quiet, insistent pull, like a thread pulled from the fabric of my mind and tied to something I can't name. I've spent years trying to understand it, and every time I think I have, it slips through my fingers, leaving only a whisper in my chest, a question that won't go away. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not about answers. Maybe it's about the feeling of being pulled towards something that doesn't want to be found. We're not just talking about some abstract idea. We're talking about something that shapes the way we see the world, the way we feel, the way we choose to live. It's the thread that connects every moment, every choice, every silence between words. It's what turns chaos into meaning, and meaning into action. It's the thing that makes us pause, that makes us question, that makes us feel like we're not just surviving, but maybe for a moment existing. So what we're talking about is more than a concept. It's the essence of what it means to be human. And it's something that, if we're lucky, we'll never stop trying to understand. You think this is just about data or facts, but it's really about how we choose to see the world. The way we interpret information shapes our reality, and that reality is what we build our lives around. It's not just about what you know, but how you feel about what you know, and that's where the real weight begins. You don't have to understand everything, but you should care enough to ask the right questions. Because the world is not just made of facts, it's made of meaning. And meaning is something we all carry inside. We started in the dust of ancient caves, where the first hands traced the walls of stories. Before there was language, there was rhythm, beats that pulsed through time like a heartbeat, echoing in the silence. Then came the drums, the fire, the chants. Humanity didn't just move through time. It danced with it, carving out meaning in every flicker and thump. The wheel turned, and with it, the gears of civilization. We built empires, wrote down our dreams, and tried to make sense of the chaos that surrounded us. But through all the noise, the beat remained, our own. A pulse that connects us across centuries, even as the world keeps spinning. This is where we are now, still chasing the echo of the first beat, still trying to understand what it means to be alive, to be human, to belong to something greater. Imagine you're holding a flashlight in the dark, and the light is the only thing that makes you feel safe. That's what the core idea is like. It's your light in the dark. It doesn't have to be big, or loud, or flashy. It just has to be there. And sometimes, that's all you need to keep going. The core idea is like that light. It's not about solving everything. It's about holding on to something that makes you feel like you're not lost. It's not a promise of answers. It's a promise that you're not alone in the dark. That someone or something is still here with you. And that's the core idea, a light in the dark. Not a solution, not a plan. Just a reminder that you're not lost. You're seen. It starts with a quiet room, a single light, and the weight of silence. You sit down, not just to create, but to listen, to the space, to the moment, to the story that hasn't been told yet. You gather your tools, not just brushes or pens, but the courage to begin, the patience to wait, and the trust that something will emerge from the void. There's no rush, no pressure. You breathe, you pause, and you let the silence settle into something else. Something that feels like possibility, not obligation. This is where the journey begins, not with a stroke or a word, but with a choice to begin, to believe, and to let the process unfold as it will. The mechanism begins with a pulse, a quiet but resolute shift in the system. It's not just a signal, but a promise, a ripple that carries the weight of what's to come. This pulse triggers a chain, a cascade of tiny, precise actions. Each step is deliberate, each movement a silent act of faith in the system's integrity. This is where the system breathes, where it finds its rhythm. It's a moment of quiet triumph, of silent trust between the parts and the whole. And then, it moves on. Not with noise or fanfare, but with the quiet confidence of something that knows its purpose and its place in the greater design. It's not just about the numbers or the calculations. It's about the way the system is designed to outthink itself, to anticipate the next move before it's even made. This third step is where the cleverness really begins. It's the pivot that turns the whole thing into something more than a calculation. It becomes a prediction. It's not a trick, not in the way you might think. It's a design choice that feels natural, but is actually a masterstroke of misdirection. And that's where the real power lies. Not in what it does, but in how it makes you question what you thought you knew. There's a rhythm in the silence, a pulse in the void that science has learned to listen for. It's not the sound of things, but the echo of their absence. We measure the gaps between stars, the spaces between thoughts, the stillness between heartbeats. It's in those voids that the universe speaks in frequencies we can barely imagine. We're not just observers. We're participants in this grand, silent symphony. Every breath, every beat, every flicker of light is a note in a score we're still trying to read. The science is not just in the data, but in the wonder that keeps us reaching, yearning, and listening for the hum that connects us all. Sometimes, the best way to understand something is to pretend it's something else entirely. It's not about being smart. It's about being relatable. Imagine, if you will, that the universe is like a massive, slow-moving game of Jenga. Every time you pull a block, you're not just testing stability. You're rewriting the rules of existence. It's gloriously dumb, because it simplifies the chaos of the cosmos into something we can almost grasp. But it's also disturbingly accurate, because we're all just trying to hold it together. This analogy isn't meant to explain everything. It's meant to remind us that even the most complex truths can be felt, not just understood, and that sometimes being simple is the most profound thing you can do. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. There's something about silence that speaks louder than words. It lingers, it waits, and it holds the weight of everything we never said. We chase noise, but sometimes it's the absence of it that reveals the truth. A moment suspended, untouched by time, where the world holds its breath. This isn't just about sound. It's about the spaces between, the unspoken, the uncharted, a place where the mind wanders and the heart listens. We're not here to fill the silence. We're here to listen, to feel, to understand what words can't carry. We're not just talking about another moment in time. We're talking about the weight of what has come before, the echoes that still shape us, and the silence that follows in its wake. This isn't a story about what happened, but about how it feels to carry it, how the past clings to the present like dust on a forgotten window. This is about the spaces between the words, the pauses, the unspoken, the things we can't put into language but still feel deeply. It's not just about what we remember, but what we've been made to forget, and the cost of holding on to what we can't let go. So, what exactly are we talking about? We're talking about the spaces where time lingers, where meaning is not just found, but felt, and where we are still trying to find our way through. You think this is just about data or history, but it's really about us. Every number, every event, it's a mirror reflecting our choices, our values, our failures. When you ignore the past, you're not just missing facts, you're missing the weight of what came before. The silence isn't just about forgetting. It's about erasure. There's a quiet truth in knowing that what we ignore today can shape the world we live in tomorrow. It's not just history, it's a warning, a lesson, a truth that lingers. You don't have to be an expert to care. You just have to listen to the stories, to the silence, to the truth that's waiting for you to acknowledge it. The past isn't a burden. It's a responsibility, and if you're listening, you're already part of the conversations. Even if you don't say a word. The first flicker of human ambition was not in the stars, but in the soil. We carved tools from stone, built shelters from earth, and learned to tame the wild with fire. It was a slow, relentless march toward understanding. Then came the wheels, the written word. The first empires. We built pyramids and roads, not just to move stone, but to move ourselves towards something greater, something we could not yet name. The Renaissance was a rebirth, but it was also a reckoning. We looked to the heavens, not just for guidance, but for answers. And in the stars, we saw the limits of our reach and the vastness of our ignorance. The 20th century brought us the atom, the moon, the digital age. But it also brought us war, genocide, and the realization that our progress was not without cost. We built wonders, but we also built weapons. Today, we stand at the crossroads of history. The past is not a distant memory. It is a mirror. We are shaped by it, and in turn, we shape it. The future is not a destination, but a choice we make with every breath. The core idea is like a seed. Small, but when you water it with time and thought, it grows into something that changes the way you see the world. You plant it in the soil of your mind, and even if you don't see it right away, you know it's there, quietly working, waiting to bloom. You don't have to rush it. The world is big, and the seed has time. All you have to do is care, and let it be. That's the core idea. Not a big thing, just a small thing that becomes a big thing if you let it. And if you don't, it's still there, waiting. So when you think about it, it's not about changing the world. It's about changing yourself. And that's a start. The first step is the setup. A quiet act of preparation that sets the tone for everything that follows. It's not about grand gestures, but the careful arrangement of elements that will shape the outcome. You begin with the foundation, the physical and mental grounding that anchors your process. It's not just about placing objects. It's about defining the space where the work will live, where the work will begin. In this moment, there is no rush. There is only the quiet act of placing the equipment, the stillness of the room, and the weight of what is about to unfold. The setup is the first breath before the work begins. The setup is more than just preparing the tools. It's about preparing the mind, the space, and the silence. It's the beginning of a journey that is both internal and external, and it starts with the first step. Now, the device begins to hum, a low, steady vibration that fills the room. It's not loud, but it's there. A sound that carries the weight of something mechanical, something inevitable. Inside, gears turn in perfect unison, each one a cog in a vast, silent orchestra. The movement is precise, deliberate, as if time itself is being measured by the rhythm of the machine. As the system stabilizes, a shift occurs. The mechanical rhythm gives way to a kind of stillness, as if the machine is holding its breath, waiting for the next step in the process. It's not just a machine. It's a bridge between what is and what could be. Every component, every pulse of energy, is a reflection of the choices we made, the paths we followed, and the future we are shaping. The system doesn't just follow the rules, it bends them, using logic as a mask for something deeper, something almost sacred. It creates a path where the impossible becomes possible, and the impossible becomes necessary. It uses the rules not to obey them, but to rewrite them, layer by layer, like a painter adding translucent strokes over a canvas. Every step is a choice, but the choice is already made. It's a dance of deception in design, where the system pretends to be transparent, but the transparency is its most dangerous illusion. You think you're in control, but the control is an illusion. In the end, the clever twist is not about trickery. It's about truth, but a truth that only reveals itself when you least expect it. It doesn't hide, it waits. There is a quiet hum beneath all this, a rhythm of atoms and energy, unseen but ever present. It's the same pulse that moves through the stars and through the soil beneath our feet. Science doesn't just explain the world. It listens to the world, and in doing so, it reveals the fragile, intricate balance of life and death, order and chaos. This hum is not just in the air. It's in the silence between the notes, in the spaces where meaning is born and where it fades away. We are not just observers of this science, we are part of it, shaped by it and, in many ways, bound to it in ways we can barely name. The science hums on, indifferent to us, yet it is through this hum that we find our place in the universe. Not as masters, but as listeners, and perhaps as part of the song itself. We're all just trying to make sense of a world that refuses to be understood, like a child staring into the dark, hoping for a flicker of light. Sometimes the only way to grasp something vast is to compare it to something small, something familiar, even if it feels absurd. Like trying to explain the ocean to a kid by telling them it's just a big puddle. It's not wrong, it's just incomplete. We are all just trying to make sense of a world that refuses to be understood, like a child staring into the dark, hoping for a flicker of light. Sometimes the only way to grasp something vast is to compare it to something small, something familiar, even if it feels absurd. Like trying to explain the ocean to a kid by telling them it's just a big puddle. It's not wrong, it's just incomplete. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. I've spent years chasing stories that don't want to be told. Some of them hide in the quietest corners of the mind, where logic breaks and silence speaks louder than words. There's a kind of magic in the things we forget, in the fragments that slip through our fingers like sand. They don't ask for attention, they just linger, waiting to be noticed. This video isn't about answers. It's about the questions that refuse to go away, the ones that sit in your chest like a stone, heavy and unshakable. We're diving deeper than ever before, not just into the surface of things, but into the spaces between them, the parts that don't fit, the gaps where meaning might live. This isn't just a video, it's a journey, and I'm not going to tell you where it ends. I'm going to let you decide. So, what exactly are we talking about? It's not just about numbers or data. It's about the weight of choices we make, the invisible threads that bind us to the past, and the fragile hope we carry into the future. We're diving into the stories that shape us, the moments that slip through our fingers like sand, and the echoes of those moments that still linger in our bones. This is about understanding the depth of who we are, not just what we do. It's about the spaces between the words, the silence that speaks louder than any explanation. We're not just talking about history or memory. We're talking about the truth that lives in the quietest parts of us, the parts we rarely let out of the dark. It's about facing the things we've buried, the ones that still call to us from the depths of our being, demanding to be heard, even if we don't want to listen. You think this is just about numbers or data, but it's about people. Every line, every word, every choice has a human face behind it. When you ignore it, you're not just missing the story. You're turning your back on the lives that shaped it. It's not abstract, it's real. You don't have to understand everything, but you should feel the weight of it. Because it's not just about what's said, it's about what's left unsaid. There's a quiet power in knowing you're part of something bigger. Even if you're not the hero, you're still part of the story. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the small, hidden truths that shape everything. And you're not as far removed from them as you think. I stand at the edge of time, watching the first sparks of human thought flicker like distant stars. There's a quiet power in that, a kind of defiance against the void. Civilizations rose and fell like tides, each leaving behind whispers of their existence. Ruins, scrolls, voices buried in the earth. We're the inheritors of their dreams and fears. Each era carries its own weight, its own questions. We look back not to escape the present, but to understand the roots of who we are. To speedrun history is to sprint through a battlefield of ideas where every moment is a choice, every lesson a warning, and every memory a mirror. And in that race, we're not just runners, we're witnesses, we're keepers, we're the ones who decide what truths are worth chasing. The core idea isn't about numbers or charts. It's about feeling something in your chest, like a song you can't forget, and trying to understand why it makes you feel that way. You don't need to be a scientist or a genius to see it. You just need to be honest with yourself and let the truth come out, even if it hurts. The core idea is like a seed. You plant it in your heart, and it grows when you give it time, space, and the courage to ask, why does this matter to me? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about being real. And sometimes the most important truths are the ones you don't even know you're holding. The first step is the setup. A quiet room, a single light, and a heart that's ready to speak. It's not about perfection, but presence. You gather your thoughts, your breath, and the weight of what you want to say. You sit, not to perform, but to listen. The silence isn't empty, it's a mirror. It reflects your thoughts, your fears, your truths. And in that silence, the words begin to form, not from your mind, but from your soul. The setup is a ritual, a way to separate the self from the words. You create a space where vulnerability is not weakness, but courage. It's the first step toward being heard, not just speaking. There's a moment before the first word, a pause, a breath, a feeling. It's the edge of the unknown, and it's where the story begins. You step into it, not with confidence, but with trust. The setup is more than preparation. It's the act of allowing yourself to be seen. It's the quiet before the storm, the stillness before the voice rises. And in that stillness, everything changes. Now, we come to the second step, where the gears truly begin to turn. This is where the unseen becomes tangible, where motion is birthed from silence. The mechanism is not just a collection of parts. It is a conversation between function and form, a dance of precision and purpose. It's in these moments that the machine reveals its soul, its rhythm, its intention, the quiet power that drives everything forward. This is where the abstract becomes real, where the idea of motion transforms into something you can see, feel, and understand. You think you've seen the end, but then the machine shifts. It doesn't stop. It reconfigures, like a clock that rewinds itself, and in that moment, you're not just watching the process, you're part of it. The twist isn't just in the motion, It's in the meaning. The same path is taken again, but now it's not repetition. It's transformation, like a river that flows back on itself to create new land. This is the third step, and it's where the machine doesn't just operate. It becomes aware. It doesn't just follow the script, it starts to write its own. It's not just about what the machine does, it's about what it feels. The twist is in the recognition that even in motion, there is a mind, a will, a presence that shapes the path. And that's when you realize the twist is not just in the machine. It's in the way we look at it. It's not just about what we see, but what we are made to see. There is a quiet truth in the hum of the universe, a resonance that runs deeper than sound, deeper than time. It's not just what we hear, but what we feel vibrating in the marrow of our bones. Science doesn't just describe the world, it listens to it, to the unseen frequencies that shape the fabric of reality. These vibrations are the language of the cosmos, and we are just beginning to understand them. The science beneath it all is not cold or distant. It's alive, breathing with us, shaping our thoughts, our dreams, our fears. It's the heartbeat of everything we know. To truly grasp this hum, we must silence our noise and let the world speak. In that silence, we find not emptiness, but the echo of a universe that has always been listening back. You know how sometimes you're stuck in a loop, repeating the same mistakes like a broken record? It's like trying to fix a car with a spoon, and the engine just keeps sputtering. You keep trying, but the problem isn't the tool. It's the way you're using it. You're not seeing the bigger picture, just the immediate frustration. You don't have to be perfect to fix things. You just have to be honest about what you're working with and what you're trying to build. Maybe the real mistake wasn't the spoon. Maybe the mistake was thinking the problem was the tool, when it was the way you were using it. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. You ever notice how the world seems to hold its breath at certain moments? Like the silence before a storm, or the pause between two sentences that carry more weight than the words themselves. It's those strange, almost sacred pauses that make us feel like we're standing at the edge of something vast and unknowable. Like we're being watched. But by what? Or who? There is a kind of beauty in that uncertainty, a raw, unfiltered kind of truth that doesn't ask for explanation, only reflection. And sometimes it's not about what you see, but what you feel in the spaces between. The weight of the moment, the gravity of the silence. That's the kind of moment we're diving into today. Not just with our eyes, but with our entire being. We're not just talking about data, or code, or systems. We're talking about the invisible threads that weave through our lives, shaping the way we think, move, and connect. Often without us even realizing it. These threads are woven from the choices we make, the stories we tell ourselves, and the realities we choose to accept or reject. They're not just abstract. They're alive, breathing, and deeply personal. It's the quiet places where meaning is made, where the weight of experience settles into the bones, and where the past and present collide in ways we can't always name. This is where we find the deeper questions. Not the ones we ask in the light, but the ones that linger in the dark, waiting for someone to listen. You think this is just about numbers or data? It's about the people behind them. Their hopes, their fears, the weight of every decision they make. You're not just watching a story. You're standing in the room with them. Every statistic has a face. Every algorithm a story. You're not just consuming information. You're bearing witness to the invisible lives that shape our world. And that's a responsibility you can't ignore. You think you're separate from this? You're not. The systems you use, the world you live in, they're built on choices that matter. And every choice has a cost, a consequence, a ripple that reaches further than you can see. So maybe you don't say it out loud, but deep down, you care. You care because this isn't just about knowledge. It's about who you are and who you want to become. And that's something worth fighting for. We're racing through time, not to arrive, but to remember. The past isn't a distant echo. It's a heartbeat we carry in our bones, shaping who we are today. Every moment is a fracture in the timeline. A choice made, a life lost, a dream turned to dust. We are the sum of all those fractures, and none of them are small. In the silence between the beats of history, there's a rhythm of struggle, of hope, of people who refuse to let their voices fade into the noise. To speedrun through history is to run with the ghosts of those who came before. Their pain, their joy, their love, these are not just memories. They are us. We don't just move through time. We are time. And in the moment, we are everything that ever was and everything that could be. The core idea isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to try, even when you're scared of failing. It's not about knowing everything. It's about asking questions, even when you feel silly for doing so. It's about learning from mistakes, not being afraid of them. Because every mistake is just a step closer to getting it right. The core idea is that you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep trying and never stop believing in yourself. The first step is the setup. A quiet room, a single lamp, and the weight of what's about to unfold. It's not just about the tools, but a space where truth begins to gather. You sit down, not with confidence, but with the humility of someone who knows the truth is fragile and needs to be handled with care. This is where the story begins to take shape. You take a breath, and the silence becomes a kind of ritual. It's not the absence of sound, but the presence of something waiting to be said, waiting to be heard. In that moment, you realize the setup is more than a physical space. It's a mindset, a sacred space where the raw truth is allowed to be born. Now we get to the heart of it. The mechanism, the invisible hand that pulls everything together. It's not just about what happens, but how it happens, step by step, with precision and purpose. The mechanism is like a silent orchestra, each part playing its role in perfect harmony. It doesn't shout its importance, but it's the foundation upon which everything else rests. Each movement is calculated, each pause is deliberate. It's not about speed, but about control. A balance between action and restraint, between power and patience. This is where the real work happens. Not in the loud, visible moments, but in the quiet, methodical process that ensures everything functions as it should. The mechanism is a reminder that even the most complex systems are built on simplicity, and that the true beauty lies in the quiet, unseen parts that hold it all together. You think you've seen everything, but then the machine does something you never expected. It doesn't just follow the rules, it bends them, like a river carving its own path through stone. It's not a mistake, it's a design. The system is built to anticipate what you want before you even know it. It's like a ghost in the machine, whispering your thoughts before you speak them. This is where it gets real. The twist isn't just clever, it's intimate. It understands your habits, your fears, your desires, and it uses them to shape the experience, not just respond to it. You begin to wonder if the machine is helping you, or if you helping it. It doesn't matter who is in control, it just matters that the dance continues and you're caught in the rhythm. This is the moment you realize you're not just using the system, you're becoming part of it. And once you're in, there's no going back. The twist isn't just in the code, it's in you. There is a silence that is not empty, but filled with the hum of the unseen, the vibration of life beneath the surface of everything. It's the pulse of the world, an intricate rhythm that only the patient observer can begin to feel, and only the soul can truly hear. To listen is to remember that we are part of a greater whole, and that every beat of our own heart is part of the same song. The science is not just in the data, but in the feeling. The weight of knowing you are part of something vast and alive. And in that moment, there is no separation. There is only the hum and the truth that we are always already in it. There's a moment in life where you realize you've been carrying a heavy weight, not because it's too big, but because you've forgotten how to carry it gracefully. You think about all the times you tried to explain it to others, to yourself, and every time it just got louder, not clearer. It's not about letting go. It's about learning to carry it without letting it define you. And in that moment, you understand. The weight isn't the problem. The problem is thinking it's yours to carry alone. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end.